Okay, from Module 2 in Test 1, we see an percents and exponential growth problem. Easy to spot just because of the percent sign there, also because the formula in the answer is clearly an exponential growth formula. So the fact that we need to know is the formula itself. If we want to fast forward down here, we can see the formula for exponential growth, which you really do want to know. It's an easy enough one to remember, so it just is going to make your life so much easier if you know this. So I would pause the video and unpack this formula if you haven't already. So the other thing I think is important from this problem is just they always do this where there's a percentage that is more than 100. And that means that the rate of growth is going to be 1.5. And what makes this problem confusing, but also kind of helps you solve it so quickly, is that when the rate is 1.5, then what's inside the parentheses is going to be 1.5 plus 1, and thus 2.5. So that's really important because a lot of people will fall for the inside being like 1.5 and forget that you need to add that one. So we can't do that. So if you spot that in the problem, then you're going to immediately notice that we're down to two answers because we have our 2.5s here. And honestly, the tool here is really just the beauty of the answers, that if you look at the answers and look at the difference between them, so you notice a difference in this initial value, right, of 72 versus 180, and then you notice the difference in the growth versus 1.5 and 2.5, it's just so obvious that this late in the game, it's not going to be 180 because that's what's initially in the problem. It's just too easy. So even if I didn't do the math, I would know it wasn't one of those two. And then sadly, it's also not going to be that because no one, it's just too easy for it to be 1.5. So without any math, even just knowing the test itself, I would choose B because it's kind of what you wouldn't expect in both the A value and the rate of growth value. I know that's kind of sounds like a cheating way to do it, but if you do know the math or you look up the College Board explanation of the math, obviously it also makes sense here that the answer would be B.